It's one of those days. One of those stunning Hauraki golf days.
It's joy. I just love it. I love to be on the water.
The hope that today Hua Dai will catch a glimpse of nature's bounty. But you never know.
Even if I don't see any whale today, I'm still very happy.
Did you ever think you were going to be happy again?
A long time ago, maybe not. Oh my God.
This is the natural New Zealand that Hua and her only son Wanda shared a love of. It was his birthday this week.
His birthday was on Wednesday, yes.
How old would he have been?
27. Yeah.
For a long time, Hua struggled to see any beauty in life.
She would come rushing to me, screaming, I need to go, I need to dig him up. They've buried him alive and he's calling to me. So I didn't know whether she would go out of her mind.
Was there ever a point where you thought she wouldn't get through this?
Lots.
Hua Dai was born and grew up in communist China. Did you know anything about the rest of the world?
No. At that time, no. When I was 13, I didn't even know there was other places outside of China.
Life in China meant always obeying Chairman Mao and respecting your parents.
Here, I know who I am. Like, I'm an individual, that I have my own right, own space. In China, there was no concept of such.
Hua grew up loving poetry and became an English teacher. She married and had a baby.
It was beautiful. It was all I wanted. I was just, I was so happy. It was like, I need nothing. I need nothing in the world, just my son.
And she gave her son an English name, Wonder.
Because he is a wonder for me. And he is wonder.
They were a classic one-child Chinese family for 7 years. Then Hua's husband had an affair and they divorced.
In China at that time, it would be isolation and it will be like shame on the family.
Hua found herself alone, vulnerable, and raising a young child.
Maybe he just saw my weakness because I did not know how to say what's in my heart.
10 years earlier, Hua had written a poem that was published throughout China. It had attracted the attention of soldier Zhen Huan Li. Would you say he was like a stalker?
Yes.
She dismissed him, but now Li was back and asking her to marry him.
I did not want to marry him. My mother's reaction is immediately like, don't be stupid, marry him.
It was a decision that would have fatal consequences.
So I only just can say, sorry, Wanda, I regret it. I really did not want to do that. There were so many things I didn't want to do, and I did, against my will, my own will.
By 2001, the three of them were living in New Zealand, where Hua had been offered the chance to continue her PhD study in Auckland.
Wanda loved here. I said to Wanda, you go to school and learn everything you can and teach me, because that's the New Zealand culture.
Wanda and Hua thrived in Aotearoa's great green open spaces.
We like nature. We would walk long distance. And every time we walked, when he found a dandelion on the ground, he would pick it up and, Mom, blow, blow, blow. So then we would blow and see the seeds flying in the air.
But inside their home on Auckland's North Shore, life was tense.
No talk. There was no conversation. So I cook and he eat, and that's it.
Li was surly, and Hua says there was pressure on her to support his application for residency. He became increasingly resentful and controlling.
He was frustrated that I did not listen to him. He wanted me to do something, or he wanted me not to do something. I did not listen.
Li was becoming violent. Then one night in September 2002, he carried out a planned attack on Hua and 10-year-old Wanda.
Suddenly, Mr. Li called my name. I turned around and looked at him. He raised his table leg, steel table leg, above my head. And I looked at him. I was sick. I was disgusted. When it hit me, I was still conscious. Then I raised this hand to shield my head, and he hit me another time. I drifted in and out. And then I heard footsteps from behind me, went to wonder, and my eyes were shut, but I heard wonder, and that was it. Next thing was I heard people talking. They were talking on the walkie-talkie. I can hear the loudspeaker, alive, alive, and then I lost consciousness again.
As police started to investigate, both Wanda and Hua were in comas, clinging to life.
Can't really understand why anyone would want to hurt a little boy.
Neither were expected to make it. After 9 days, Wanda's life support was turned off.
Wanda was pronounced dead after, maybe almost immediately after the life support was switched off.
Hua stayed in a coma for 3 weeks.
Yeah, somehow I came back.
But Wanda had already been buried.
I did not believe it, because in the coma, Wanda was with me. We were together all the time.
Hua had a serious head injury, but worse, the emotional trauma was crushing, unbearable.
So I could not bear to think or imagine that man used a steel table leg hit my son's head. And I felt the pain. I felt the hit many, many times.
Zen Huan Li pleaded not guilty to Wanda's murder, but then Hua testified at his trial.
And he changed his plea?
Yeah.
After your evidence?
Yes. It was not me, it was the truth.
You took the life of a loving boy and broke a mother's heart.
Li got life imprisonment, but Hua was left to pick up what was left of hers.
I was like a zombie. I wasn't living, I was just existing.
On a day out with friends, she found herself on Auckland's wild west coast.
She had lost a child. She was a foreigner in a strange country. She had lost her home. She came here to do a PhD, and then she ends up with a head injury. For someone to have the whole lot, that was heavy.
Bev Holt is a counsellor. Hua had landed at her women's retreat in Piha.
She would lock every door, lock every window, and pull the curtains, and she would just stay there.
So broken, Hua couldn't climb the stairs to Bev's study for counselling, so she crawled.
At the very beginning, I had no words, so when I opened my mouth, I only had tears. So I would cry. And I remember sometimes I had to lie on my tummy on the floor, and Bev would teach me how to breathe, how to cry.
For almost 2 years, Hua refused to accept that Wanda was gone.
I said, no, my son wasn't dead when they buried my son. He's still alive. I want to take him out so he can live.
Does anyone recover from this sort of trauma? I kept thinking, well, why would I ever think it was possible? But the fact that we were here in this life and death environment of the Wild West, that we were in an environment that for centuries had been a healing environment, I just hung on to that.
Piha's sea and the bush, coupled with intense counselling. Very slowly, Hua was starting to heal.
From when I was young, I loved the sea and the mountain. It was just the perfect for me. I felt that that was where my soul belongs. I call it my soul's home.
Hua originally came to stay at Bev's place for a week.
And stayed?
8 years.
8 years before Hua was ready to return to the world.
Bev said to me, Wanda will go with you. Wanda is with you all the time. If you start moving, Wanda will move forward with you. That immediately shifted me. So I stood up. I said, okay, I will live. And then I stood up. I said, I will live a wonderful life. And then I cried.
Grief never seems to be wasted. It brings a gift of compassion for others, a gift of understanding, their gift of growing up, their gift of being aware that this planet, like the West Coast, you take your life in your hands.
Hua's small steps to happiness are becoming strides.
Thank you, Wanda. I miss you very much.
This year, she's restarted her PhD.
Love you, Wanda. I believe that you are with Mom on this journey of doing PhD. I'm doing it for you and me.
Wanda is no longer here, but Hua knows he will always be with her.
Whoa, look, oh, the whole sea. Yeah.
Especially on a beautiful day, surrounded by the bounty of nature.
If Wanda were physically with me, we would be screaming all together. So today I have Wanda with me in spirit, and I scream wholeheartedly, as if Wanda is screaming with me. Oh, look.